Hello and welcome to this week's Neumann Update. I'm Alexis Lomax. The hot topic that started off this week circulated around what new amount will be considered minimum wage. As President Biden's $1.9 trillion COVID relief package attempts to be pushed forward by Democrats and the White House, the announcement came through late Thursday evening that Senate parliamentarian Elizabeth McDonough has ruled against including the increase in minimum wage in the COVID relief bill. McDonough held the make-it-or-break-it decision for the minimum wage portion of the bill to be passed by reconciliation. That is, passing a bill with a simple majority of 51 votes and not requiring 60 votes to overcome a filibuster. Unfortunately, though, through McDonough's ruling, she stated that an increase to $15 an hour did not meet the strict set of guidelines necessary to move forward in the Senate's reconciliation process. So with McDonough ruling no, what's the next step? Well, sources close to senior Democrats have been told that the Democrats are still remaining hopeful, as they believe the removal from the COVID-19 relief bill might in fact help avoid there being a messy fight over whether to strip it out or to compromise. Following Thursday's night's ruling, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said, quote, "We are deeply disappointed in this decision. We are not going to give up the fight to raise the minimum wage to $15 to help millions of Americans struggling every day and their families. The American people deserve it, and we are committed to it to make it a reality." In an effort to protect the most vulnerable to COVID-19, the Biden administration announced Wednesday that they will be sending more than 25 million masks to community health centers, food pantries, and soup kitchens across the country. This statement isn't exactly new coming from the Biden administration, as they announced months ago that everyone within the United States would get a mask. But as masks have become more widely available, they've decided to target those in low-income settings who wish to wear masks but don't have access to them. Starting in March, masks will be delivered to more than 1,300 community health centers across as well as 60,000 food pantries and soup kitchens across the country. As of right now, the White House estimates 12 to 15 million Americans will receive a mask once distributed. According to White House COVID-19 response coordinator Jeff Zients, the mask will be, quote, "no cost, high quality, washable, and consistent with the mask guidance from the CDC. All the masks will be made in America and will not impact the availability of masks for healthcare workers." Could there potentially be a third vaccine distributed within the healthcare market? We may find out that answer as early as tonight or sometime this weekend, as the FDA's Vaccine and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee met today to review the data so far on the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration disclosed Wednesday that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine has met the requirements for emergency use. So far, reportings have shown a 66.9% effective rate with moderate to severe / critical COVID-19 cases after 14 days and a 66.1% after 28 days. Now, to some, those numbers don't seem high in comparison to Moderna and Pfizer, but the strong suit of this vaccine is its 72% efficacy in the U.S. and an 86% protection rate against severe forms of the disease in the U.S., and it's showing significant capability in providing protection against other variants. According to the FDA, quote, "there were no specific safety concerns identified in the subgroup analysis by age, race, ethnicity, medical comorbidities, or prior SARS-CoV-2 infection." So if this vaccine does get approved from the FDA, it'll be a huge plus, not only because we'll have a third vaccine, but more importantly, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is a single-dose vaccination and can be stored for at least 3 months in normal refrigerators. Moving on from healthcare news, let's check in with Rhea for our sports update.
Sports are in full swing here at Neumann University, and we couldn't be more excited. The men's and women's basketball teams kicked off their seasons this week as senior night celebrations took off for the women's basketball team, as well as both the men's and women's hockey teams. Tonight, the men's hockey team hits the road for a visit to Elmira College as the women drop the puck at 7 p.m. on home ice, kicking off a back-to-back weekend against Stevenson University. The women's basketball team takes a road trip to St. Mary's College tomorrow for a tip-off at 7 p.m. You can catch every bit of the action through live stream on the Neumann Athletics website. After almost a year has passed since sporting events in Philadelphia, aside from a handful of Eagles games, has hosted fans, the time for return is finally near. The city of Philadelphia is preparing to ease its restrictions by next week, making way to have fans permitted to attend the March 7th Flyers game at the Wells Fargo Center, as well as the Phillies home opener on April 1st. Nothing has been etched in stone yet, as plans for fan return are still a work in progress. The Wells Fargo Center has since stated that they will not push for proof of vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test to be guest requirements for attendance. The Phillies spring training home has been given a new name. The team will play their first preseason game at their newly christened Baycare Ballpark on Monday, March 1st in Clearwater, Florida. The new name comes from the Baycare Health System, who has been partnered with the Phillies at their spring training ballpark, previously known as Spectrum Field, for more than 17 years. The Phils are due to open up their season this Monday against the Orioles. It has been no secret that the Eagles have made some monumental changes this offseason in the firing of Doug Peterson and trading of Carson Wentz, Alshon Jeffrey, and Deshaun Jackson. These changes have now left many question marks within the organization, as well as some potential. At this point, the only lock to be on the team next year is first-round pick Jalen Reagor, who had a difficult injury-plagued rookie season, managing just 31 catches for 396 yards in the 11 games that he did play. The Eagles have yet to fill a secondary quarterback position, and now with Jackson officially released and Jeffrey on his way out, the Eagles have 9 wide receivers left on the roster. These moves have left the roster incredibly young, and with not enough cap space to add any big-time free agents, the Eagles may have to rely on the draft to reel in some key assets. Will they be able to draft Super Bowl potential? We'll just have to wait and see. After a battle against COVID-19, Claude Giroux came back into the lineup Wednesday night against the Rangers, and boy did he make his presence known. The captain had a 3-point night, setting up 3 assists and what led the Flyers to the redemptive victory against New York. The 33-year-old forward had one practice Tuesday and the optional skate Wednesday before his first game back since February 7th. By the look of his game Wednesday night, you would have never guessed he hadn't played for 16 days. Jacob Voracek and Justin Braun have since been removed off of the protocol list, as well as Scott Lawton and Oscar Lindblom, who have just been cleared today, leaving Travis Konechny as the only Flyer still unfit to play. The orange and black team looks to continue to regroup and find their stride heading into a back-to-back weekend against the Buffalo Sabres beginning tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. The Sixers improved to 14-2 at the Wells Fargo Center and 22/11 overall Thursday night, but they saw a key player leave early in their 111/97 win over the Dallas Mavericks. Tobias Harris exited the game in the third quarter and was diagnosed with a right knee contusion. Sixers head coach Doc Rivers said in his post-game conference that he expects Harris will have tests to be taken on his knee Friday morning to ensure nothing is wrong structurally. Joel Embiid led the Sixers with 23 points on 5 for 20, shooting and 9 rebounds and 4 assists. The Sixers will search for another victory over the Cleveland Cavaliers this Saturday on home court. Now let's go over to James with Shock Factor.
Well, thanks, Rhea. I think everyone watching here today thinks that they're good at sleeping. In fact, I'm so good at sleeping, I can do it with my eyes closed. Sleep Standards, a company that focuses on giving sleep health advice and advice on sleep-related products, is looking for a candidate to, quote, learn more about the influence of environmental impacts on the quality of sleep. That candidate could be you. The sleep superstar will spend 5 nights sleeping in various locations, including 1 night at a 5-star luxury resort. They will be asked to rate each sleeping environment from a scale of 1 to 10 and write a report on each sleeping experience. All expenses will be paid for, and the candidate will receive an extra $2,000 for participating. Applications are being taken through the company's website until March 30th, so you better act fast. Well, good things come to those who wait, and those who don't may receive a trespassing warning. Two Florida women dressed as elderly women, wearing bonnets, gloves, and glasses, trying to cut the line in getting a second dose of the vaccine, were caught today. Like the Bruce Springsteen song, it was a brilliant disguise. Body cam footage captured the women as officers began to scold them. Take a look.
You know what you have done? You've stolen a vaccine from somebody that needs it more than you. And now you're not going to get your second one. So that's a whole waste of time we just wasted here on this. And we're not even sure if they're going to press charges against you and take you to jail right now. So we're at that point right here. But just for your selfishness of stealing a vaccine. Okay.
Deputies warned the women that they would be arrested if they returned and that they were lucky to be going home with just a warning. The women surprisingly were able to trick healthcare workers for the first dose of the vaccine. Officials caught on after they noticed the discrepancy with their birthdays not matching up with their application and driver's licenses. Raul Pino, director of the health department in Orange County, spoke of the incident at a news briefing this week.
We haven't had any lack of willing arms to get vaccinated. Interesting. We also have people faking to be old to be vaccinated. So yesterday, we realized a couple of young ladies came dressed up as grannies to get vaccinated for the second time. So I don't know how they escaped the first time, but they came vaccinated. The bonnet, the gloves, the glasses, the whole thing. And they probably were in their 20s. So there's a lot of things happening.
Pino and his team are currently investigating on how the women managed to get an appointment for the first dose of the vaccine. The department is currently working to speculate any loopholes in the process. Well, what will the future of podcasting look like? Here's the story, only on Tech Talk. Well, with the popularity of podcasts in recent years, iHeartRadio is in the works to create about a dozen 3D audio podcasts this year for its fans. The goal is to offer a lifelike experience with sounds, speakers, and instruments flowing from the listener's ear from what seems like a variety of different locations, both near and far. 3D audio, otherwise known as binatural audio, is recorded with two microphones recording from different positions at the same time. This results in the listener hearing something that emerges at a natural position. The company has already built 3 studios to allow more 3D audio shows in the future and is also planning to host live radio events with included 3D audio, prompting users to wear headphones to receive the full effect. While this technology isn't necessarily brand new, 3D audio is becoming more common in our daily lives and is expected to become a standard of sound in the future. Now, let's check in with Alexa Henry for the latest entertainment news. Alexa is making her Neumann Update debut today, and on behalf of myself and the entire crew, we're so excited to have you on our team. Alexa, take it away.
Thank you, James. Today, I'll be talking about Taylor Swift's efforts in releasing a new album this year. She will be recreating her old album, Fearless, and here's why. Taylor Swift announced last Thursday that a re-recording of one of her first albums, Fearless, will be released on April 9th. But for those who wonder, why is one of the biggest artists in music spending her time re-recording an album she released 13 years ago? The answer is simply because she doesn't own the master recordings to any of her songs prior to 2019's Lover, including major hits like We Are Never Getting Back Together, Mine, and Shake It Off. By re-recording, Swift can reclaim control over her recordings, or at least the new Taylor's version of them. According to Swift, she's aware of her very dedicated and loyal fan base and believes that her voice is powerful enough to persuade her fans to abandon her old recordings and listen to these new ones that she now owns. For the majority of Swift's career, she held a deal with Big Machine Records when that ended in 2018. The singer decided to sign with someone that would grant her ownership of master recordings going forward, which was with Universal Music Group. After her announcement about Fearless, Taylor's version, she detailed specifically why she chose to record, saying, I've spoken a lot about why I'm remaking my first 6 albums, but the way I've chosen to do this will hopefully help illuminate where I'm coming from. Artists should own their own work for so many reasons, but the most screamingly obvious one is that the artist is the only one who really knows that body of work. For Swift, re-recording Fearless adds to already prolific year. She was released 2 albums during the coronavirus quarantine, Folklore and Evermore, which have topped the charts. I'm Alexa Henry giving you entertainment news.
Well, the mild temperatures look to be making their stay throughout the next week. Beginning today, we had a high of 47 degrees and seasonal sunny skies. Tomorrow comes warmer at 55, but that rain starts to move in. Sunday drops to 50 degrees and the rain stays the day. Moving into the first day of March, we'll see some showers in the morning and then the sun comes out by the afternoon with clearer skies. Tuesday comes sunny but much chillier at 43 degrees, and Wednesday we shall prepare for our next storm, which could start out as a wintry mix but most likely changing over to rain with a high of 50 degrees. Well, Lex, I'm so glad we are seeing a warmer trend. How about you?
Same here. It's not totally warm yet, but it's getting mild, so I'll take that. That's everything that we have for this week's Neumann Update. I'm Alexis Lomax. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you after the break.